Laura's got a secret, oh what a tale. She spins a wild story set to sail without a sail. Fake baby bumps, she's got tricks up her sleeve, but the boys see through it, they just can't believe. Oh Laura, 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 what did you do? Play and pretend just to make it through. The boys fight back, they're standing tall. Laura's big surprise is no surprise at all. She points her finger, you're the bad guy now. But truth's got legs and it's taken a bow. Her plans unravel like a thread on a spool. Life's not a game and you're breaking the rules. Lies and lawsuits, so what a show. But justice is coming, it's starting to grow. You can't win hearts with tricks or a fight. The truth shines brighter than a starry night. Oh Laura, Laura, what did you do? Play and pretend just to make it through. The boys fight back, they're standing tall. Laura's big surprise is no surprise at all. So kids, remember, don't twist what's true. Life's much better when you just be you. Laura's learning the hard way it seems. Honesty's the hero in everyone's dreams. Oh Laura, Laura, what did you do? Play and pretend just to make it through. The boys fight back, they're standing tall. Laura's big surprise is no surprise at all.
Hey, folks. Yeah, I can't help myself. Oh, welcome. It is Saturday. I survived Friday. Thank you guys for showing up yesterday at the slightly bust Friday Law Show, where we went through some of the things with. Oh, sorry. What did we talk about yesterday? Oh, yeah, we talked about the Donna Adelson. No, we didn't. We talked a bit about the Donna Adelson, but the Cardi B. And you guys were very generous. You got me to spin the wheel of regrets a number of times. And yeah, you got me to drink Malort. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Now, of course, since I thought I brought my nicotine pouches, I did, but one empty one. Hold on. I'll be right back. I will be right back. And hello again. Here I am. Yeah. So, what are we up to today? We are up to Laura Michelle Owens. And this is, well, you know, she got indicted, 7 counts of fraud, among other things. I know she wrote filing of she claims to the court she's poor. She ain't got no money. Yeah, so now all of a sudden, in that case, she has to rely on somebody who actually, because if she gets a public defender, that one won't lie for her, as Ginger Ass does. All of a sudden, oh Laura, things are going to be bad. But it's not like things are going good everywhere else, because what is it? A couple of weeks ago, we went through Laura Owens' motion for permanent restraining order. Michael Marraccini filed his answer. Oh, I just went through the first, just the first few paragraphs and thought to myself, oh, I need to read this with you guys. Now, I did see that Megan had a stream earlier today with this. So maybe some of you have already seen what's in it. I said hi and then I left because I want a fresh look at this. I want a fresh look. Hi, Wendy. Says, why I'm just learning a week ago. This lady is famous AM radio host Ron Owens' daughter. Yeah. Yeah, how did you not know? Now, he is not famous for me because, not American, but apparently he was big back in the day. Very, very big. And now he filed for bankruptcy. They are $2.3 million in debt. And I can almost guarantee it's all because of Laura. So, yeah. So they are filing for bankruptcy. And she claims to the court that she is poor and can't afford her attorney. But that didn't stop her from seeking this permanent restraining order. And here is the answer, folks. Here is the answer. And let's see here. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger, so everybody can see here. He is represented by Omar from Michael Marraccini. Marraccini. I keep misspelling. Sorry. I keep spelling it Marraccini, but it's Marraccini. Okay. Correct spelling there. So, folks, we are going to go through for the next, I don't know. I see here it's 515 pages, but I assume most of it is evidence. So it's not 515 pages of text. So cool. Sip says Ron Owens reportedly has a huge gambling problem. So the financial woes started with him. Laura just made it worse. Okay. Well, it didn't help. It did not help. So he has a huge gambling problem. He has a daughter that, is a bit cuckoo. And then he got cancer and had to ask for donations for cancer treatment. Yeah, how far? Well, I hope he's getting better, because that is a horrible disease to have. And imagine, despite Laura knowing her father is basically on the doorsteps of hell or on the doorsteps of life, and she still can't help herself. She still can't help herself. But let's go through this as much as we can. Oh, he also has Parkinson's. Oh, Jesus. Poor guy. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Jen. Soko. Hello, Nick. Nicola is here. Hello. DK Sayer Ripple. DK Cripple. Johnny. Hello. And a bunch of other folks. And hello, you guys over at Rumble. All right, let's get ourselves through this. Superior Court of the State of California, County of San Francisco. Laura Owens, petitioner versus Michael. Well, there it says Marraccini. And here it says Marraccini. So what's Jesus Christ? Yeah. Okay. Marraccini. Oh, I guess. Oh, well. But let's get through this. Attorney brief in support of Michael Marraccini's response to request for renewal of domestic violence restraining order. Preliminary statement regarding exhibits. Several of the exhibits referenced herein are taken from a comprehensive digital forensics examination of Marraccini's laptop conducted on May 4th, 2024 by John Berryhill of Berryhill Computer Forensic Inc., also known as the Forensics Report. A 2,489-page report, and has therefore not been attached to this brief. Many of the exhibits in this filing consist of summaries, excerpts, or analysis drawn directly from the forensics report. Accordingly, each exhibit has been assigned its own exhibit letter, where applicable, and cites the corresponding page numbers from the forensics report. Footnote 1. All times in the forensics report are universal time coordinated, which is 7 hours ahead of PST, Pacific Standard Time. Actual events occurred 7 hours before listed UTC time. Okay. Procedure history. Here is what I read. I haven't read anything beyond this. Petitioner Laura Owens has a documented history of fabricating allegations of pregnancy, domestic violence, SA, lying under oath, and presenting false evidence to the court. Exhibit A. Yeah. She's currently facing 7 felony charges related to serial pregnancy fraud and perjury in the Superior Court of Maricopa County in Arizona. And they add the case number. Good. Including allegedly injecting herself with HCG3 so that she would test positive on pregnancy tests. Exhibit B from the criminal indictment. Her latest filings in California, seeking a permanent domestic violence restraining order against respondent Michael Marraccini, is just the latest in a series of escalating behaviors designed to abuse court processes as means of silencing her victims to prevent them from combating her fictitious victim narrative. This, yeah, I need to do something with that. Let's see. Suno. Ja. In the style of rockabilly. There. And we will get back to that and see what Suno creates for us. All right, let's continue. Owens and Marraccini met in March of 2016 and engaged in an on-again, off-again romantic relationship that ended in August of 2017. During the relationship, Owens crafted a series of escalating narratives to emotionally manipulate Marraccini. This included fabricating pregnancies, miscarriages, abortions, and fraudulently creating documents to support an ovarian cancer diagnosis. Owens used these traumatic fictions to coerce Marraccini into continue to date her, using 2 fake letters from a OB/GYN to encourage Marraccini to change his attitude and to be more supportive of her. This is from that. See here, what does it say? See forensics report, pages 682 to 762. Forged letter purporting to be from Dr. John Chung Kai Chan, authored by Laura Owens. Yeah. She actually, in the Clayton case, she admitted that this here was fabricated. And now apparently she finds it as good in California. Yeah. And it says, in addition, you can let him know that your diagnosis and treatment has been complicated by your pregnancy, which is on its own has been extremely difficult and unusual. I would strongly encourage him to change his attitude and support you at this time. Not a doctor in history will ever write something like this. Not a doctor in history. How can she claim indigence when she hired a defense attorney? Well, I suppose she wants the court to pay for that attorney. But in my experience, that rarely happens. She will get a court-appointed attorney. Marraccini called the police on Owens on January 7, 2018, Exhibit D. Owens had confronted Marraccini and his sister in public, yelling and screaming obscenities at him. 2 days later, on January 9, 2018, Owens obtained her retaliatory domestic violence restraining order, DVRO, in the Superior Court of California, County of San Francisco, granted temporarily on January 10th, 2018. Now, you might say, well, how did she get that if there are evidence against her? Well, if she goes to court and just tells a bunch of stuff, she will get a temporary. Because if nobody tells Michael, he can't oppose it. Oh, Tonya Smith, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you. It went to Soko Slip, Drunkest Turtle, Ida Bonefield, John Sebastian, Pershove. Yeah. Thank you so much. And now you guys have access to all my members-only content. You will have access to early access to the videos I put out. And you will have your own emojis here on YouTube. And access to my Discord. The link to my Discord is on my YouTube page. Thank you so much. That is so nice of you. So nice of you. Let's see. The allegations in the DVRO were shocking, with Owens claiming extreme abuse on the hands of Marraccini, including using photographs from when she fell off a horse to alleged abuse. And that it arose to such a degree she had to seek inpatient mental health treatment. An allegation she confusingly refutes in her previous filings. How about that? So you started with that, and now you said it never happened. How about that? On January 22nd, 2018, Marraccini timely filed his DV-120 response and denied all allegations made by Owens and noted her history of manipulative conduct, including her fabricated pregnancies and conflicting medical claims. Owens and Marraccini both submitted supplemental declarations and third-party witness statements. A hearing originally scheduled for January 26, 2018 was continued for further evidence, depositions, and declarations. Ultimately, on or about July 10, 2018, exhausted by the false narratives, Marraccini entered into a stipulated agreement resulting in the issuance of a 2-year Kletz reported restraining order after hearing under Family Code this. Yeah, this is Laura Owens' MO. She does not stop. It does not matter if you have the truth on your side. She will never stop. Never. She wears you down. That is her MO. So Marraccini apparently thought, I'll just sign it and move the fuck away and get on with my life. And yeah. Blah, 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 without any admissions of wrongdoing by Marraccini. That order was set to expire July 10th, 2020. Notably, there was never any finding that Marraccini ever committed an act of domestic violence. On the date the order was set to expire, Owens filed a request to renew the DVRO, alleging continued fear and allegations of various violations by Marraccini, which he affirmatively denies. A hearing was held on September 11th, 2020, before the Honorable Sharon Reardon. Despite Marraccini's objections and without a finding of new abuse, the court granted a 5-year renewal under this code, extending the DVRO to July 10th, 2025. Sadly, that is sadly the case often. Without any findings, things get rubber stamped because she claims she felt scared. Hi, Gilda. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. If you have any questions, ask them in the chat and people will tell you. Because I see a bunch of people in the chat which are they know the case. They know the case, so they can keep you updated. But this is insane. At least what we know, she has done this 4 times. She has 4 victims that we know of where she shows they meet, she opens up in some way, shape, or form. They quickly discover she is a nut job. Then she claims she's pregnant to get the men to keep dating her. Over and over again. And always pregnant with twins. And she fabricates sonograms. She fabricates positive pregnancy tests. Yeah. But now the truth has caught up with her. Karma has finally caught up with her. She is facing 7 felony charges in Arizona for tampering with evidence, lying under oath, and a bunch of other stuff. Let's see. Let's continue. Between 2022 and 2024, Owens used this DVRO as means of advancing a fabricated narrative that she was a domestic violence survivor. She made multiple public statements, including a January 2022 TED Talk. This TED Talk has now, it's not taken down, but they removed the comments because that comment section was filled to the brim with people asking TED Talk to, yo, she's fabricating this. You need to put this down because this is bad for your company, your trademark, to have her still there. And in June 2023, Chicken Soup for the Soul essay, all of which accused Marraccini of engaging in abuse. Exhibit F. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, Owens continued to use her pattern of falsifying pregnancies with 2 new victims in the Superior Court of Maricopa County. In 2021 and 2022, she sued an Arizona man named Greg Gillespie in Maricopa County for abortion coercion after she claimed he impregnated her with twins and then later claimed to have aborted them at this direction. It's Exhibit G. When he refused to continue to date her, Laura obtained a protective order, Arizona DVRO, against him, which he recently renewed. Yeah, I know. It's insanity. From 2023 to 2024, Owens was the subject of a public legal controversy involving another false twin pregnancy allegation against ABC's former The Bachelor lead, Clayton Echard. When Mr. Echard refused to continue to date her, Owens obtained a protective order against him as well. The paternity litigation with Mr. Echard went to trial on June 10th, 2024, which we watched here a few weeks ago, at which time Owens' prior victims, including Mr. Marraccini, were lawfully subpoenaed to testify. In June of 2024, the Maricopa County Superior Court found that Owens was never pregnant with Mr. Echard and granted his request for a finding of non-paternity. The court found Owens had acted unreasonably in the litigation, initiated litigation without basis or merit, provided false testimony, and that Owens' petition was fraudulent and made to incite communication, a relationship, or both with Mr. Echard. Moreover, the court found that Owens had a, quote, a pattern of similar, if not identical, behavior, end quote. Owens was ordered to pay over $149,000 to Mr. Echard and referred to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for review. On May 6, 2025, Owens was indicted by a Maricopa County grand jury on 7 felony counts, including fraudulent schemes and artifices, perjury, forgery, and evidence tampering, related to the action with Mr. Echard. On July 10, 2025, Owens submitted a second request to renew her restraining order against Marraccini, indicating her intent to seek a permanent order of protection against him, largely due to his attendance at the Echard trial pursuant to a lawful subpoena. Remember when we went through this a couple of weeks ago, where she still claims in filings to this court that was an unlawful subpoena, an illegal subpoena. Now, you have a court order against you, Miss Owens. How can you file such garbage? Trial is scheduled for October 21, 22, 2025 in San Francisco Superior Court. Owens has a well-documented history. More introduction. Owens has a well-documented history of making false pregnancy allegations, subsequently alleging domestic violence, and otherwise abusing court processes when her victims do not wish to continue their relationship. Given this pattern of manipulating the court process to re-traumatize her victims, Marraccini urges this court to deny the requested renewal. Under California Family Code, a domestic violence restraining order should be renewed only if the evidence shows the protected party harbors a genuine and reasonable fear of future abuse. Owens' own conduct, as evidenced by her current 7 felony charges in Arizona, demonstrate that any claimed fear on her part is neither genuine nor reasonable, but instead a part of an ongoing strategy of deceit and manipulation. Yeah, she's cray-cray. She is cray-cray. She believes her own lies as truth, anything to keep her fake narrative alive. Well, even if she is that mentally deranged, the fact that she, in the Echard case, admits some are fake, that tells me she knows she's faking. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Let's get those likes up. Yep. And subscribe. If you haven't, listen to Mr. Jingles here, up here. Subscribe. Factual background. Owens' pattern of fabrication and inconsistencies. A. False pregnancy and miscarriage claims, 2016. Early on in their relationship, Owens began her pattern of faking pregnancies to manipulate Marraccini. Just 3 months after meeting, in June of 2016, Owens informed Marraccini that she was pregnant with his child, eventually sending a photo of a positive pregnancy test to support this false narrative. Within weeks, she insisted she was pregnant with his twins. Always twins. Always twins. No medical evidence has ever been produced to corroborate that Owens was ever pregnant, that she was pregnant with twins, or that she had to undergo the 3 surgical and 3 medical abortions as she would later allege. Yeah, we went through this a couple of weeks ago, where she claims 3 surgical and 3 medical I mean, that it failed over and over again, that she was still pregnant. That's not how this works at all. Jesus. On July 14th, 2016, a month after claiming she was pregnant, Owens told Marraccini she thought she was having a miscarriage, which she later retracted. Huh. 1 day later, July 15, Owens again indicated she was miscarrying and that she was bleeding and on her way to the hospital. This claimed medical emergency is easily debunked with a social media post that same day where she is depicted in a white dress drinking alcohol and partying. Yeah, good on you. Good on you. She has this habit of either downing alcohol, riding horses, and energy drinks. Not riding energy drinks, but drinking energy drinks, while claiming to be in high-risk pregnancies. And I can tell you this, with my 4 sisters who desperately try to populate the earth, I have 17 now, nieces and nephews. Yeah, high risk. You do not go horse riding. You do not drink alcohol. You do not drink energy drinks. Hey, cat lady, treat fund for Mr. Jingles. Hope he's been staying out of trouble. Well, I can't speak for him staying out of trouble, but he's doing good. He's doing good, and he's outside right now. He got food a couple of hours ago, so now he's out chasing rodents on the farm. So he's being a good cat. And thank you so much. I will make sure he has treats. Daily quick bites. An important question: is she doing all this pro se? Because if there are attorneys involved, at some point they are complicit with committing frauds upon the court or worse. I think she is filing this in San Francisco with the help of Ginger Ass. I believe she is filing this. She's filing her case in California with the help of Mr. Ginger Ass. Folks, it's my accent. I have a hard time pronouncing his last name. So, yeah. So Ginger Ass it is. So yeah, here she is. Same day she claimed she was having a medical emergency in a white dress, drinking, partying. After, quote-unquote, going to the hospital, Owens informed Marraccini the pregnancy was still viable and called him to tell him they were having twins. July 22nd, Owens started claiming that the twin pregnancy was no longer viable and that she would take abortion pills. Days later, she claimed that the abortion pills did not work and she still had to undergo a surgical abortion. Owens would allege a series of complications with the procedure, including that she was bleeding a lot and that she needed not 1 but 3 surgical abortions to terminate the alleged twin pregnancy. No, it does not work that well. It does not work that way. And here, you have the webpage, Victims of Laura Owens. Just do a Google search, Victims of Laura Owens, and you will see all this up front. So here she is, the texts where she claims all of this. To support her escalating 4 pregnancy emergencies, Owens manufactured various medical records. After the failed multi-abortion ruse, Owens doctored letters from an OB-GYN, whom Owens claimed in a deposition for the Echard paternity case was a cancer specialist. To state she had ovarian cancer and had an These fabricated letters perpetrated the emotional manipulation of Marraccini, with the doctors telling Marraccini that Owens had real ovarian cancer and that the doctors strongly encouraged him to change his attitude and support Owens. All of this is in the extraction report. So this is one of the things. And from Rebecca G. All fabricated. All fabricated. Notably, even as Owens insisted she was suffering from all these grave conditions, a high-risk twin pregnancy, multiple miscarriages, repeated abortions, and cancer, she continued to engage in strenuous activities. For example, during this very period, she was competing in equestrian jumping events. And there's video of her doing this in competition, horse jumping. In December 2016, under mounting scrutiny, Owens finally admitted to Marraccini and her own father that she had never been pregnant, that everything was fabricated, and that she would seek psychological care. Another exhibit. Marraccini continued to date Owens after her confessions. Yeah, stupid. In hopes she would seek the professional help she was admitted needing and that her family would support her efforts. Ultimately, Owens' manipulative habits only continued and escalated, with Marraccini having to call the police on January 7th, 2018. Little did Marraccini know this would initiate Owens filing the Undermining DVRO, which contained a false reality in which Marraccini was the abuser, despite an utter lack of verifiable evidence. These lies were not innocent mistakes or misunderstandings. They were deliberate, sustained fabrications about the creation and loss of human life, designed to manipulate Marraccini into continuing to date her. This was the pattern of Owens' relationship with Marraccini, and later, her relationships with the two victims in Arizona. In addition to this manipulative conduct, Owens has demonstrated a consistent pattern of retaliatory legal action. When a romantic partner initiates legal proceedings against her, she responds by filing legal actions against them. This pattern is evident in 3 separate cases. After Marraccini contacted law enforcement regarding Owens' behavior, she filed for a temporary restraining order against him 2 days later. When Greg Gillespie filed an order of protection against Owens, she entirely evaded service and filed her own OOP against him 3 months later. Similarly, after Clayton Echard obtained an injunction against harassment, Owens filed an order of protection against him 10 days later. When Marraccini ended their relationship, Owens continued this pattern by seeking a domestic violence restraining order based on false and completely unsupported allegation. She now seeks to make that order permanent. Meanwhile, Owens currently faces multiple felony charges in Maricopa County, including perjury, extortion, and conspiracy, stemming from precisely the type of falsehoods and deceptive behavior Marraccini experienced firsthand years ago. Oh, Daily Quick might found something. Yeah, David Ginderas has a mugshot from 1997 with allegations with something with a minor. Now, that case was later dismissed. I don't know why. So, yeah. He is now facing his second DUI in Arizona. And so, yeah, he might be in a world of trouble of his own. B. Inconsistent conduct undermining her claims of fear. Owens cannot satisfy her burden to demonstrate a reasonable apprehension of future abuse. Her behavior has demonstrated that her claimed fear is neither genuine nor reasonable. Owens' conduct toward Marraccini has been wholly inconsistent with that of an individual who genuinely fears for their safety. The evidence demonstrates that her pursuit of a permanent DVRO stems not from any legitimate safety concern, but from a retaliatory intent related to Marraccini's lawful compliance with a subpoena in the Arizona proceeding. Affection and pursuit after alleged abuse. Owens portrays Marraccini as violent, yet her communications reveal a consistent pattern. Whenever he distanced himself or took actions she perceived as rejection, she would respond with a sudden declaration of affection or fabricate a medical crisis to draw him back in. For example, Owens asserts that by early July 2016, Marraccini was already acting abusively toward her. But on July 6, 2016, she texted him, "I love and trust you." There is so much. Similarly, Owens states she feels secure and loved by Marraccini in late 2016. After March 27 trip to Dubai, during which Owens now claims Marraccini was cruel, though no abuse actually occurred, she continued to initiate friendly, even flirtatious exchanges with Marraccini, stating, "I'm horny, baby, love you, and as late as mid-November, I wish we could get dinner." Exhibit after exhibit after exhibit. Despite Owens' claims supporting her DVRO, her own message to Marraccini, sent a year and 5 months into their relationship, reveals a desire for a deeper connection. In it, she expresses appreciation for his honesty that he is not in love with her. This message undermines her portrayal of herself as a victim seeking distance or safety. Instead, it shows she was pushing for clarity and perhaps greater commitment, while Marraccini was not equally invested in the relationship. Yeah. Ginger Ass has a bunch of bar complaints for the Arizona bar. More evidence. More. Victims of genuine domestic violence typically avoid contact with their abuser, refrain from pursuing intimacy, and do not encourage a deep and romantic relationship. Owens, however, repeatedly pressed Marraccini for commitment, urged him to become a boyfriend, and frequently professed love and trust, often immediately after the very incidents she now characterizes as abuse. Such conduct is fundamentally inconsistent with the behavior of someone living in fear or attempting to escape further harm. Initiating contact despite the order. Contrary to Owens' portrayal of Marraccini before this court as brutally violent, a rapist, pathological liar, stalker, and the source of her severe psychological distress, Owens herself offered to speak with Marraccini directly by phone as recently as last year. This willingness to engage in communication with an individual she has characterized in such extreme terms starkly undermines the credibility of her claims. Owens' readiness to initiate dialogue highlights the inconsistency and absurdity of her allegations throughout this case. And this is email from her attorney David Gingerass after speaking with Laura Owens. I have no idea how David Gingerass sounds. Let me a rough estimate.
One last thing. After talking with Laura about this, she said she has lots of questions for Mike. I told her my preference is to have her send me any specific questions, and I'll see if Mike wants to answer them. She also says she's willing to speak directly with him, but that may not be appropriate in light of the restraining order. On the other hand, if Mike has a strong preference in favor of directly speaking with Laura, maybe we can make it happen. I'm licensed in California and can probably do some sort of stipulation with Randy to modify the California order to allow this, just to be safe.
I think it's pretty close to how David Gingerass actually sounds. Maybe. Yes, he sounds like the Queen of England. The court. Let's try to continue here. The court must consider the significant contradictions between her stated fears and her actual behavior. California law expressly authorizes courts to weigh not only a witness statement, but also their demeanor, conduct, and prior inconsistent remarks in evaluating their credibility. Here, Ms. Owens' actions consistently undermine her claims. Rather than showing genuine apprehension of Mr. Marraccini, her conduct has demonstrated an ongoing desire to engage and provoke conflict. To renew a restraining order under California law, the petitioner must demonstrate that her fear of future abuse is not merely subjective, but objectively reasonable. A person who continues actively to initiate contact or seeks confrontation with the purported abuser cannot credibly claim to fear them. Ms. Owens' behavior, which includes pursuing communication, harassing, and even publicly confronting Mr. Marraccini, strongly indicates she harbors no genuine fear of him. Instead, it reveals a pattern of calculated provocation and manipulation. Owens' actions disqualify her from obtaining continued judicial protection. Hey, Christine, member for 25 months. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See the pattern. Oh, yeah. Teresa says she applied to change her name to Emily Wilson during Clayton's case, but nixed it when she was found out. She can't hide from justice or her damning SEO. Yeah, by the way, last time when we had the fundraiser for Mr. Marraccini, we had a winner on the best name on donation. The winner was the person who had fellatio felon. I asked that person contact me via email. Hasn't been done yet because I still need to send you your prize. So contact me via email with a receipt of your donation so I can check it. And then I will send you the mug, a piece of my merch. The mug that says, "You can't unfuck a clusterfuck." So if you're here now, or if anybody here knows who that was, please have them contact me. All right, let's continue. See the pattern. Abortion coercion suit. In August of 2021, Owens had a brief encounter with Gregory Gillespie, a man in Scottsdale, Arizona. After Mr. Gillespie refused to continue a relationship with her, she claimed she was pregnant with his twins and fabricated a sonogram to continue the ruse. When that failed, she claimed she had to take abortion pills multiple times, as the first attempt failed and the second attempt only alleged affect one fetus. When Mr. Gillespie was not interested in seeing her again, she initiated a civil action against him, alleging they had coerced her into getting an abortion. That action was later dismissed, and forensic analysis confirmed that the ultrasound was faked, identifying the original source image that Owens had manipulated, but not before Owens could obtain a protective order against Mr. Gillespie. Yes, two different courts. So she asked for protective order in one court, and this civil action in another. Sadly, Mr. Gillespie was the victim of a protective order before the first civil case was concluded. The Echard paternity scheme. In May of 2023, Owens had a one-night encounter with reality TV personality Clayton Echard, former star of ABC's The Bachelor, in which no sexual intercourse occurred. Owens subsequently claimed she was pregnant with Echard's child, turned twins. Twins, again. An allegation that mirrors the false scenario Owens had fabricated with Gillespie and Marraccini. Owens even filed a paternity lawsuit in Arizona, seeking custodial orders and child support from Echard, all while inundating him and the media with supposed proof of her pregnancy. Yeah. Everything she has ever filed is saved somewhere. The internet, do not forget. When Mr. Echard contested the validity of her claims, Owens moved to withdraw the suit, claiming she has miscarried. The court denied her request, and Owens eventually signed a HIPAA release, allowing Echard to obtain records that showed she had never sought medical care, never received an ultrasound as she claimed, and she had doctored medical records as part of her pregnancy fraud. The matter was eventually set for trial, and both Gillespie and Marraccini, Owens' prior victims of pregnancy fraud, were lawfully subpoenaed to testify as to their personal knowledge of Owens' allegations. Owens' attorney filed a motion in limine, seeking to preclude Marraccini's testimony, which the court denied. When Marraccini lawfully attended the hearing on June 10, 2024, Owens' attorney further sought to have Marraccini arrested at the courthouse, contacting 3 separate police departments, all of which denied his request, as Marraccini was lawfully present pursuant to the subpoena. Yeah, this makes her filings for this permanent restraining order. She made false statements. She made provably false statements. Refer to exhibit this, petition for court order paternity, blah, blah, blah. Case number. Yep. Ultimately, the trial judge found that Owens was never pregnant and referred her for investigation by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. In May 2025, a grand jury indicted Owens on 7 felonies. 1 count of fraudulent schemes and artifices, 1 count of forgery, 4 counts of perjury, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. The indictment alleges from March 2023 to June 2024, Owens engaged in an elaborate scheme to defraud both Echard and the court, conduct nearly identical to her conduct with Marraccini and Gillespie. Significance of the indictment. While the Arizona criminal case is separate from this proceeding, it is profoundly relevant to Owens' credibility and pattern of conduct, as well as her allegations against Marraccini. Owens is now facing 7 felony charges related to fabricating pregnancies, making several inconsistent statements under oath, and falsifying medical evidence. Marraccini has been identified by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office as a potential witness to Owens' fraudulent conduct based on his direct experience with her. The parallels between Owens' conduct with Marraccini and Mr. Echard, including Owens' habit of obtaining restraining orders against her victims, cannot be understated. In both instances, Owens falsely claimed to be pregnant with a child, turned twins, and when pressed for proof, she pretended to miscarry. In both cases, she produced doctored medical quote-unquote evidence to bolster her story, and in both, her lies eventually unraveled. Owens' modus operandi is disturbingly consistent. This court must consider the indictment as critical to her credibility. In short, Owens has a clear pattern. She lies about pregnancies and abuse, and when confronted with evidence of her deceit, she doubles down by dragging her accusers into court to cast herself as the victim and to punish those who expose her. This pattern has persisted for years, spanning multiple jurisdictions. Arizona courts are now grappling with the fallout as Owens faces criminal prosecution. Should this court, after hearing all the facts, determine that Owens has continued this pattern of falsehoods, this court must refer her for prosecution in San Francisco County and reassess the legitimacy of all filings in this DVRO action. Owens is dangerous and is continuing to harm her victims by maintaining this fraudulent DVRO action. Owens has shown she will not stop and that she is a danger to the community. It is virtually unheard of for someone seeking a DVRO renewal to simultaneously be under indictment for fraud and perjury on a closely related matter. The evidence of Owens' fraud and perjury is significant, and it comes not just from Marraccini's assertions, but from forensic data, third-party witnesses, and judicial findings. An extensive evidentiary hearing is requested by Marraccini to disprove Owens' allegations in the court of law. Owens is a charged con artist, and this court should not accept any of her claims at face value. Her allegations should be given the highest scrutiny and be fully addressed through an in-person evidentiary hearing where Owens' other victims can testify. Yeah. Hold on. Points and authorities. Legal standard for renewal, credibility as a central factor. Let's see here. Under California Family Code, a domestic violence restraining order may be renewed for 5 years or even made permanent, quote, without a showing of any further abuse since the issuance of the original order. However, the law is equally clear that the burden remains on Owens to demonstrate a continued need for protection. In practical terms, Owens must prove by a preponderance of the evidence a reasonable apprehension of future abuse if the restraining order is allowed to expire. Folks, while we are reading this case is in San Francisco, California. She does not live there anymore. But Marraccini lives, I believe he still lives in California. But she moved to Arizona. She is no longer there. And Marraccini has shown zero interest of ever having her around, ever being close. He wants out of this. Now, in the Echard case, they subpoenaed him, which means he had to show up. So, dun dun dun. Owen proposes a future abuse if the restraining order is allowed to expire. This standard has both subjective and objective components. Owens must actually fear future abuse, and that fear must be objectively reasonable under the circumstances. As the Court of Appeals explained in Ritchie, if the protected party's fear is genuine and reasonable, the court should generally err on the side of renewal, given the protective purpose of the law. Conversely, if the claimed fear is not credible or not objectively reasonable, renewal is not warranted. In assessing whether Owens' claimed apprehensions is genuine and reasonable, the court should consider the evidence and findings underlying the initial restraining order, as well as any significant changes in circumstances since. Here, the original DVRO was issued temporarily in January 2018 after a brief hearing and was based solely on Owens' written declarations. When time came for the evidentiary hearing, Marraccini, simply wishing to move on, did not contest the order and instead stipulated to a 2-year restraining order to avoid further litigation, without conceding to any of the allegations in the underlying DVRO. Thus, the original order's findings were never the product of a rigorous credibility determination. They were unchallenged allegations. Now, with the benefit of hindsight and new evidence, this court is in a very different position than it was in 2018. Owens' behaviors have culminated in fraudulent and criminal findings in Arizona. Her credibility is central to this renewal decision and must be assessed to determine whether her apprehension is both genuine and reasonable. California law recognizes that in deciding whether to grant equitable relief, like a DVRO, a court should weigh the party's credibility. Evidence Code 780 explicitly permits the court to consider, quote, any matter that has any tendency in reason to prove or disprove the truthfulness of a witness testimony, including prior inconsistent statements and the witness' character for honesty. In this case, multiple factors cast doubt on Owens' credibility and the validity of her claimed fear. Prior inconsistent statements. In July 2016, Owens assured Marraccini it's not a miscarriage because she was supposedly carrying twins. Yet in her 2018 TRO filings, unequivocally claims to have miscarried, implying that Marraccini's behavior caused the miscarriage. Owens explicitly told Marraccini the miscarriage never happened. Likewise, Owens' current insistence that she has lived in fear of Marraccini since 2017 is inconsistent with her own communications and actions during and after 2017. She sent Marraccini numerous affectionate, casual messages well after 2017, even initiating face-to-face encounters with him, contrary to the horrendous abuse allegations contained in the 2018 TRO filings. Proven lack of honesty. Owens' credibility is virtually non-existent. There is not a mere he said, she said dispute. It is a case where the record shows deliberate fabrication. She has staged pregnancies and miscarriages that never occurred, forged medical records, and lied about having cancer. She has concocted stories of abuse and gone so far as to create false evidence, such as recycling an unrelated hospital photo to bolster her claims. Most tellingly, she now faces a felony indictment in Arizona for perjury and fraud, an official finding of probable cause that she lied under oath and falsified evidence. Motive to lie or exaggerate. Owens has clear incentives to misrepresent the situation. She has a pattern of using legal proceedings, like restraining orders and lawsuits, to retaliate against or control former partners. Here, her motive for seeking yet another renewal comes after she attempted and threatened to have Marraccini arrested for responding to a lawful subpoena in Arizona. Owen faces public disgrace and legal consequences for her action. A DVRO is a powerful tool that Owens has used as a weapon rather than a protective measure. The court should be mindful that extending it under these circumstances rewards her misuse of the system. Owens has failed to meet her burden of proving a genuine, reasonable fear of future abuse. On the contrary, the evidence indicates she does not truly fear Marraccini. She fears losing control of the narrative she has constructed that is falling to pieces in light of the Echard case. Owens is a disgrace to genuine victims of domestic violence and cannot be permitted to continue abusing a process that is meant to protect victims as a tool to cause further harm. The DVPA was written to protect genuine victims, not to allow a mechanism for individuals like Owens to craft baseless allegations, punishing men for not wanting to date her. When a petitioner's credibility has been eviscerated as thoroughly as Ms. Owens has, the court cannot find her purported fear objectively reasonable. Owens points to no new incidents or threats in the 5 years since the DVRO was last renewed. Marraccini has scrupulously complied with the order. Owens' case for renewal thus rests entirely on recycled allegations from the past, allegations that are demonstrably false. Marraccini's compliance with the legally issued subpoena and a forensic investigation of his communications with Laura, inspired by Owens' continued defamation of his character through her public identity as a fake victim. With no misconduct by Marraccini and Owens' credibility in ruins, there is no legitimate basis to continue the restraining order. There is, however, a legitimate basis to refer Ms. Owens for criminal prosecution in the state of California. Finally, the court should consider the broader policy implications. The Domestic Violence Prevention Act's noble purpose is to protect true victims of abuse. That purpose is undermined if the system is hijacked by false claims. Courts have warned against using restraining orders as tactical weapons rather than shields. And he quotes a number of cases here. Granting a renewal in this case, despite overwhelming evidence of Owens' dishonesty, would send a dangerous message that the court will tolerate and even reward perjury and fabrication. It would encourage others to misuse DVROs for ulterior motives. In contrast, denying the renewal here would affirm that this court will not be made a tool in a fraudulent narrative. Denial of Owens' renewal request would fortify the faith of California's DVRO process and ensure that its protection remained reserved for those who genuinely need them. Conclusion. Owens has built her case on a foundation of falsehoods. She lied about being pregnant with Marraccini's children. She lied about suffering miscarriages and undergoing escalating emergency medical procedures that never actually occurred. She lied about having cancer and crafted fake doctor's notes telling Marraccini to be supportive of her. She lied about Marraccini abusing her, even misrepresenting evidence to support that lie. Owens lied in her submission to this court, and she lied under oath in 2 other pregnancy cons in Arizona. At every turn, when the truth threatened to undercut her narrative, Owens chose to double down. A person with this habit of deceit cannot be deemed credible, and her motives in seeking a renewal of the DVRO cannot be assumed to be pure. The court must carefully consider whether justice prevails by imposing severe restraints on Marraccini's liberty, potentially permanently under these circumstances. Owens has not been subjected to any abuse by Marraccini. The evidence indicates that Owens is the instigator of conflicts and that she is committed to tormenting Marraccini for the rest of his life. Her bid to renew the restraining order is not a plea for protection born of genuine fear. It appears to be a ploy for vindication and continued leverage. For reasons set forth above, Respondent Michael Marraccini respectfully requests that the courts deny Owens' request for renewal. Moreover, if the court determines that the original 2018 restraining order was procured through extrinsic fraud, it should be vacated under Code of Civil Procedure. The seriousness of extending or potentially making permanent a DVRO requires strict adherence to due process and fundamental fairness, particularly where substantial evidence shows the underlying order was obtained under false pretenses. Although Marraccini stands ready to address the merits of Owens' allegations, these procedural defects alone provide an independent basis to dissolve the existing order and deny any further extension. In sum, justice requires that this court not countenance perjury or reward fabrication. Owens has had her day, indeed years, under the protection of an order that was predicated on false claims. That chapter should now close. Marraccini respectfully requests that the court allow the restraining order to expire, restoring his freedom and good name. Respectfully submitted, Omar Serrato. And here are, after that, from page 30, going forward to page 515, it's all exhibits. Yeah, now, is there a risk that they are in front of a judge that do not care what happened in Arizona? Is there a risk that they will say, maybe she was fraudulent over there? Doesn't mean she was fraudulent over here. There's always a risk. But the more we talk about it, the more people have it in their minds, the bigger the chance that Mr. Marraccini is successful. Courts are, if the court goes by law and evidence alone, this is clear cut. They should remove it and refer to the DA's office. But there's always this risk. There's always this risk. So we don't know yet. But Mr. Omar is a good lawyer. This is a very, very well written response to Laura Owens' fraudulent filings. Whew. Hey, Toddly Bip, didn't know there was another case after Echard. Well, this predates Echard, but it's still ongoing in California. Marraccini dated her back in 2017. And I doubt this is the first time she has done this. It seems like this has been her MO for many, many years. I would be surprised if she has had relationships that she didn't use this in. So yeah. That's it. I will find. Yeah, here is Michael's GoFundMe. I will pin it on the top of the chat so you can see it. Now, he has 21,587 out of his 25,000 goal. It's a start. If there are no other filings, this might be enough. If Laura Owens keeps going, he will need more. So, but this is that in California is going to take a while, and once we know that okay, they are having a hearing, I will have another fundraiser for Mr. Marraccini, because he needs the help. He needs the help. Yeah, as Jensen, the presumed first victim has not wanted to be involved. Yeah, I know. She has more victims. No idea how many more, but they moved on with their lives. They don't want to be involved. So now it's Gillespie, Echard, and Marraccini. Echard already won. She can't do anything to him again. She's facing prosecution in Arizona. Hopefully, Mr. Gillespie can get out of his restraining order. And hopefully, Mr. Marraccini can get out of his as well. So yeah, she should lose this case. She should. But there's always a risk. All right, folks. That is what I had for you guys. That is what I had for you. Again, Michael's GoFundMe, you will find that in the description for you who are here as replay crew. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for the gifted memberships, the super chat, stuff like that. Next on Wednesday, I will be traveling to the United States. I will be in Utah from September 3rd to September 18th. Then I will be in Miami from September 19th to 24th. I will have a meetup in Miami at the Julia's and Henry's in downtown Miami with Steve Gosney. If you want to meet up anywhere in Utah, reach out to me, because I will be in Logan for a few days. Logan, Utah. I will be then traveling south to some of the natural parks, some of the parks there. And but I will be, so if you are in and around Utah, just give me a holler on X, on DM on X or something like that, or email me, and I will reveal where I am. And let's see if we can meet up anytime, anywhere in Utah or in Miami. Again, thank you so much for listening in. Thank you for subscribing. Hit the like button, you know all the things. And yeah, I will see you in the next stream or video. Sending off with the Laura Owens song. See ya. Bye-bye.
Laura's got a secret, don't wanna tell. She spins a wild story, set to sail without a sail. Fake baby bumps, she's got tricks up her sleeve, but the boys see through it, they just can't believe. Oh Laura, 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 what did you do? Playing pretend just to make it through. The boys fight back, they're standing tall. Laura's big surprise is no surprise. Points her finger, you're the bad guy now, but truth's got legs and it's taking a bow. Her plans unravel like a thread on a spool. Life's not a game and you're breaking the rules. Lies and lawsuits, so what a show. But justice is coming, it's starting.
Oh, sorry folks, I forgot. I made a new Laura Owens song. Hold on. Let me get it here for you. I forgot I did that. Dun dun dun. Add to stage.
She stood there spinning her web so tight. Shadow lies in the courthouse light. Big eyes blinking, but the truth won't bite. Oh, what's your game? Oh, feel the shame. Laura's tall tales crumble down, caught red-handed in this town. No more tears, no more crown. Her tall tales crumble down. She painted herself a victim's face, but the cracks showed through in every place. Now she's running out of her saving grace. Lord, what's your game? Oh, Lord, I feel the shame. Laura's tall tales crumble down, caught red-handed in this town. No more tears, no more crown. Her tall tales crumble down. Laura's tall tales crumble down, caught red-handed in this town. No more tears, no more crown. Her tall tales crumble down. Crumble crown, crumble crown. Her tall tales crumble down.